Legislation shifting responsibility for cleaning catch basins to the Sewerage and Water Board from where it stands right now with the city approaches the finish line.
But Mayor LaToya Cantrell expressed doubts about the bill at this week's meeting of the Board of Directors of Sewage and Water Board. David Jones has more.
No, the funds are not adequate. They will not be adequate if a formula doesn't change. And this is a setup to fail.
That was how Mayor LaToya Cantrell described a bill by New Orleans Democratic Senator Jimmy Harris.
We're pushing back where we need to push back, but the reality is that this is what comes out of those who don't understand the operations, but making laws and things that we have to align with.
Harris's bill was approved by the State House in a unanimous vote after being greenlit by the Senate unanimously. An amendment was placed on to clean up some language, and it will go back to the Senate for final approval before going to the governor's desk.
It's been too long for the catch basins not to be cleaned.
Time and time again.
This is something that's really been considered for many, many years.
Local officials and water experts have said part of the job function of the city's Public Works Department and Sewerage and Water Board need to be consolidated. Now, DPW is responsible for maintaining catch basins and the smaller pipes leading out of them. Sewerage and Water Board maintains the rest of the system.
This is really a huge win if we can get this across.
I think a lot of times Sewage and Water Board gets blamed for when there's a catch basin or for a line that isn't clean, and so back and forth about whose responsibility it is.
Councilmember Joe Giarrusso also chairs the council's budget committee.
Accountability is the biggest piece. I mean, what we can't have happen is you get money and there isn't a return. Obviously, what is happening, how those catch basins being maintained, what's being done is going to be a critical feature, and the public needs to see that.
Estimates for how much it will cost Sewerage and Water Board to keep clean the basins and smaller pipes fluctuates, but it's commonly accepted to be anywhere from $20 to $30 million annually. Council allocated $10 million at the end of 2022, much of which has gone unused.
I think that we should not only start seeing that, but we also know who's responsible for it.
There were all these concerns about whether or not, the Sewage and Water Board would have to do it on their own. And there's been a significant commitment by the City Council already to fund drainage operations to make sure that the money follows over to Sewage and Water Board, along with equipment, along with personnel.
What Senator Harris did and Representative Helferty is they looked around for a bill to try to create other opportunities for money to go to the Sewage and Water Board.
Paul Rainwater chaired the governor's Sewerage and Water Board task force.
Everybody's always worried about funding, but the reality of it is I think there's going to be money. It's always about what the number needs to be and how much money can you spend in a year, because nobody wants to just have money sitting there.
So that's key, right? First, finding out how much money all of this will cost if this legislation gets the final go-ahead. Harris had worked to get an amendment attached to a bill dealing with traffic cameras, which means money allocated from red light cameras would go to drainage, infrastructure, and maintenance.